In this lesson, you'll be learning about how to solve two-step equations. In order to solve two-step equations, you need to manipulate the equation to get the variable by itself. Remember to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. And as a refresher, the inverse operations are addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division. And finally, remember to check your answer. In this first example, the first thing we need to do to isolate our variable r is to subtract 1 from both sides to move the 1 over. So if we subtract 1 from both sides of the equations, it'll become negative 28 equals negative 7r. And because 1 plus negative 1 just cancels out and becomes 0. Now from here, since we are multiplying, the inverse operation of multiplying that negative 7 times r would be dividing. So we would divide both sides by negative 7 to get our answer is 4 is equal to r. And if you wanted to, you could rewrite this as r equals 4. Now the last part of this is to check your answer. What that means is you're going to take this value of r equals 4 and plug it back in to the original equation. So I could say negative 27 equals negative 7 times 4 plus 1. Now I'm going to simplify the right side of this expression to see that it's going to equal negative 27. So if I simplify, it becomes negative 27 equals negative 28 plus 1. And if I continue to simplify, I get negative 27 equals negative 27. Since these two answers are correct, or negative 27 equals negative 27, I know that r equals 4 is the right answer. In the next example, the first thing we always want to do is simplify. So whenever we see those 9 with the parentheses, we want to distribute that 9 to both of our terms. So it would become 9 plus 9x equals 144. Now we're going to go through the process of isolating the variable. So first thing we want to do is we need to get rid of that 9. Since 9 is being added to 9x, we can subtract 9 from both sides. And that will leave us with 9x is equal to 135. Now, to finish getting x by itself, we're going to undo or use the inverse operation of that multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by 9, and that will give us that x is equal to 15. And lastly, now we have to check our answers. So we're going to plug it back into the original expression. So we'll have 9 parentheses 1 plus 15 equals 144. We simplify, so we do our parentheses first, so it's 9 times 16 equals 144. And then 9 times 16 is equal to 144. So since 144 equals 144, we know that this is our correct answer. In the next example, we're going to go through the same process of isolating that variable. So first, since we have a subtraction of 2 on the side with the variable, we're going to do the inverse operation of adding. So we'll add 2 to both sides. So that's going to become x over 10 equals 1. Now, since x is divided by 10, we use our inverse operation of multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10, so these 10s will cancel out. It's going to become x is equal to 10. Now we're going to plug it back into our original equation. So we'll have 10 over 10 minus 2 equals negative 1. Use our order of operations, so we divide, so we get 1 minus 2 equals negative 1, and negative 1 equals negative 1. So since this is true, x equals 10 is the correct answer. In our last example, we see it looks a little different. Now we have a plus 4, and the entire thing is over the fraction. Whenever we see something like this, the first thing you want to do is clear the fraction. In order to do so, we're going to multiply the entire equation by 6 on both sides. What this does is this 6 on the left-hand side cancels with the denominator, so it becomes a plus 4 equals, and negative 2 times 6 gives us negative 12. Now we finish solving like a normal equation. So to isolate a, we have to subtract 4 to do our inverse operation. So we subtract 4 from both sides. That's going to give us that a is equal to negative 16. And as our final step, we're going to plug it back in. So we're going to have negative 16 plus 4 over 6 equals negative 2. We simplify our numerator, so we get negative 12 over 6 equals negative 2. And negative 12 divided by 6 gives us negative 2. And since negative 2 is equal to negative 2, our final answer is a equals negative 16.